experts are now saying the coronavirus is way more contagious than originally thought.
It's extraordinary the amount of trust given to the employer. And coupled with that, in times of crisis, as
vaccines, when they arrive, they're not a panacea. You won't get rainbows and unicorns when the vaccines arrive.
However, the second part of my question from Tuesday was unanswered, and I'd like to get your answer on that today, if I may.
We didn't have transparency. We didn't have coordination.
Will you allow others to mandate vaccines? For example, allowing businesses to require employees to vaccinate in order to work, or maybe prospective customers.
Hey everybody, it's Everett with Ohio for Freedom. In Mike DeWine's Ohio, your employer can force you to get vaccinated for COVID-19 if you want to keep your job. Is it a done deal? Not yet, but the fight is right around the corner. What's this all about? Well, we're going to talk about it, so let's get started.
I hear the sweet sound of freedom, and I won't be long.
Does your employer have the right to force you to get vaccinated if you want to keep your job? It's a pretty serious issue. How long have you been at the job you're at right now? Are you like close to retiring? Are you in the middle of your career and you're at a place where you think this is where I'm going to stay until I'm done? Maybe you're just getting started, or maybe you just don't think that an employer has a right to force you to take a vaccination. Well, Mike DeWine tipped his hand Thursday, October 22nd, in response to a question posed by none other than, you guessed it, Jack Windsor, but it was a follow-up to a question that Jack had originally asked on Tuesday, October 20th. I had heard that press conference. I think I was in the car just listening, and Jack wrote an article about it, so I'd read the transcript, but it wasn't until a few moments ago that I'd actually watched the clip, and oh my gosh, I'm going to play that for you right now. I want you to listen to his answer, but I want you to watch his body language, watch him roll his eyes, and realize that the governor isn't just being disrespectful to Jack, which he was. He is being completely disrespectful to you, the Ohio citizen, that might want a serious answer to this question. I'm going to roll it for you, then we're going to talk about it.
Next question is from Jack Windsor at WMFD in Mansfield.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Governor. Amy Atkins said that her dream was to have immunity certificates that would allow people to reclaim their freedoms and be admitted back to normal life. She also indicated the desire to eliminate any exemptions for vaccines. Now, Dr. Fauci has signaled that the first vaccines may not be highly effective. So given the fact that Atkins was so adamant, and it appears is still giving some advice to the administration per your previous comments, two-part question. Is it your position to require vaccination and immunity proof in order to go back to normal life? Or will you backdoor mandate a vaccine by allowing businesses and schools to shut people out who don't choose to vaccinate?
Jack, I'm sorry you're still attacking Dr. Acton. I'm just sorry that you feel it necessary to do that. But
I didn't attack Dr. Acton. I just indicated what she stated.
Okay. All right. Look, we're not going to require anyone to get a vaccine. That's not going to be any requirement. We hope people will get vaccines. And I think that when people watch the process occur, watch people go through it, watch what the CDC says, watch what the experts say about this, that they're going to have confidence we be willing to, significant number of people, enough people, will be willing to take the vaccine. But we don't require any vaccination. We don't require, not going to require them to take a vaccine.
How am I doing? I'm trying to be disrespectful to the governor because he's being disrespectful to Ohioans. This is a pretty serious issue, folks. This is a very serious issue. I take great offense at the shrugging of the shoulders and the snarking around and the rolling of the eyes. This is a very serious question. And did you notice how defensive he was with the, why do you have to attack Dr. Acton? No, it's not an attack against Dr. Acton, like Jack said. That was her position. He worshipped her every move. And the question is, that was her position. Is that your position? And he immediately says, no, we're not going to require anyone to take a vaccination. But he reversed himself on that in an indirect but very obvious way. Thursday the 22nd. And folks, this is easy to miss. I mean, it's the same day as the last presidential debate. There's kind of like a lot going on. This is a really, really serious issue. So I'm going to play the clip from Thursday the 22nd. And first of all, the governor is going to address school children. And then the second part of his answer, he's going to talk about employers. And we're going to stop halfway through, talk about kids, then talk about employers, but listen very carefully to what our governor has to say about forcing people to get vaccinated.
Next question is from Jack Windsor at WMFD in Mansfield.
Hey, Jack.
Hi, Governor. Hey, thank you for answering my question on Tuesday about whether the state would mandate vaccines or require immunity certificates. You said that you wouldn't. However, the second part of my question from Tuesday was unanswered, and I'd like to get your answer on that today, if I may. Will you allow others to mandate vaccines? For example, allowing businesses to require employees to vaccinate in order to work, or maybe prospective customers? And will you allow schools to press for vaccines for kids, despite Ohio's existing exemptions for kids K through 12, since many boards, school boards now are currently not honoring mask exemptions?
Well, our law is clear in regard to school kids. So, I would see no change in that law at all in regard to school kids. We would encourage people to get the flu shot. We encourage them to get, all kinds of different shots. But the law is what the law is in regard to our school children. That's one category.
Did you notice he didn't really give an answer? Well, the law is, talking about school children, the law is what the law is. Well, Governor, what do you say the law is? Because you kind of have a habit of breaking the law, going beyond the law. Don't you remember? How many times have you been sued, Governor? It's at least 8, plus a federal lawsuit that's working its way through the court right now. Isn't it true that at least 7 of those times you lost because you had broken the law? Didn't you circumvent the law when you changed the election last spring? So no, this is not an answer at all. This is just a dodge. What do you intend to do? Well, he didn't answer that question. Let's get to the rest of the clip, and we're going to talk about employers, and we're going to talk about that quite a bit.
As far as your other question about whether a business could require everyone that would work there to have a shot, something I will talk to the General Assembly.
I got to jump in right there, folks, because this is fishy. I mean, alarm bells are going off. There's at least 2 things that are going on here, okay? He says he's going to talk to the General Assembly. What's fishy about that? What's fishy about it is he never talks to the General Assembly. How many of your state reps have complained that he never listens to them? They have voted to curtail his powers in the state of a medical emergency. And what has he done? Every single time it's threatened a veto. He never pays any attention to the state assembly. So why is he talking that way now? I think I know. It's because when he wants to get something done, but he doesn't want to get the blame of it pinned on him, he reaches out to somebody. Isn't that what he did with the state liquor board when he put the 10 o'clock last call ban in place? He wouldn't do it himself, so he gets it done through other people. Folks, he's up to something very, very sneaky. And listen, and he's going to tell you what it is.
We generally allow decisions like that to be made in the workplace if they directly impact the welfare of the people who are working there, and we generally allow those judgment calls to be made by the employers.
We generally allow decisions like this to be made in the workplace. We generally allow decisions like this to be made by the employers. Really? Okay, so if the employer decides, I don't care what OSHA says, we're going to do it this way, the employer just does whatever he wants to do? I don't think so. If an employer says, hey, females, if you're harassed in the workplace, tough. That's the way we do it here. I don't think so. Folks, I don't know about you, but I'm not buying this. When have employers ever been able to tell an employee what they can and cannot do with, their own body? No. This is a load of hogwash. I had to choose my words carefully there. This is a lot of hogwash.
Who can set a condition of work. But I want to talk to the Speaker. I want to talk to the Senate President. I want to consult with other members of the General Assembly to kind of get their feeling in regard to that.
So once again, you want to talk to the Speaker, you want to talk to the Senate President, you want to talk to the General Assembly and get their feelings on that. Why, Governor? Just 2 days ago, you said, no, we're not going to mandate vaccines. You said that without equivocation. What changed between Tuesday and Thursday? Folks, are we becoming here in Ohio like Australia, where they have a no jab, no pay rule, a no jab, no job rule? I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just a real quick look at the state of affairs in Australia, the land down under. This is from Wikipedia. No jab, no pay is an Australian policy initiative which withholds 3 payments, state payments, child care benefit, child care rebate, and as of 2018, the family tax benefit Part A end of the year supplement for parents of children under 20 years of age who are not fully immunized or on a recognized catch-up schedule, and imposes fines on child care centers that admit unvaccinated children. Look at this article. It's dated today, actually, Friday, 10/23, from the Daily Mail. No jab, no job. Bosses demand the right to sack their workers if they refuse to get a coronavirus vaccine when one is available. Looking down here, the Council of Small Business Organizations Australia has since proposed law changes that would give employers the power to sack workers who refuse the job. If one of my staff members says, no, I'm against it, then I'm going to have to say, I'm sorry then, you are a threat to my business, Council CEO Peter Strong. And that's the way it is in Australia, mate. Now, lest you think that can't happen here, or lest you think that nobody in America thinks that way, we're going to take a quick look at an article from USA Today from August of this year. Then we're going to put a wrap on this. But if this concerns you, remember that FEMA camp issue that was, 6 or 7 weeks ago? And people blew up the governor's phone, and whether his heart was in it or not, he seemed to change his tune. This might be a good time to be blowing up the phone, blowing up the email, blowing up the Facebook, blowing up anything you can, unless you think it's okay for your employer to say you got to take the jab or you got to hit the door. But I want to take a look at this USA Today article. Let's take a look at this article from USA Today, dated August 6, 2020. It's entitled, Defeat COVID-19 by Requiring Vaccination for All. It's not un-American. It's patriotic. And the byline, make vaccinations free, don't allow religious or personal objections, and create disincentives for those who refuse vaccines shown to be safe and effective. I'm going to scroll down and look at some of those disincentives. Do not honor religious objections. The major religions do not officially oppose vaccinations. Do not allow objections for personal preference which violate the social contract, whatever that is. How can government and society ensure compliance with protective vaccines? Click on that ad. Vaccine refusers could lose tax credits or be denied non-essential government benefits. Health insurance could levy higher premiums for those by refusing immunization, place themselves and others at risk, as is the case for smokers. Private businesses, are you listening, Ohio? Private businesses could refuse to employ or serve unvaccinated individuals. Schools could refuse to allow unimmunized children to attend classes. Public and commercial transit companies, airlines, trains, buses could exclude refusers. Public and private auditoriums could require evidence of immunization for entry. Welcome to the medical martial law police. So no jab, no job, no jab, no pay. That's the law of the land in Australia. And there's not time. I could show you video of the Australian police just doing really brutal, horrific things to the citizenry. They're things that are shocking, actually. And then from that USA Today article, we can see there's people that think that way here in the States, and you can just duck, duck, go. I won't say the G word. I don't want to give them any business. It's not hard to find. There's a lot of people that really steadfastly, fervently believe it's a religion, forced vaccinations. And folks, this is right around the corner, and I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm going to ask you to respond in the comments wherever you're seeing this. And here's the question. Did somebody get to Mike DeWine between Tuesday and Thursday? Did somebody get to him? Did somebody have a little talking to with Mike DeWine? I'm going to play a little 20-second compilation of Mike DeWine versus Mike DeWine Tuesday to Thursday. And I want you to ask yourself, was he giving a rehearsed answer on Thursday? Something he thought about? Had someone gotten to him? Had he had a talking to?
We're not going to require anyone to get a vaccine. We generally allow decisions like that to be made in the workplace. We're not going to require anyone to get a vaccine if they directly impact the welfare of the people who are working there. We're not going to require anyone to get a vaccine, and we generally allow those judgment calls to be made by the employers.
Does that look like a flip-flop? Does that look like a turnaround? Does it look like someone had taken him to the woodshed, given him a little bit of a reminder? Okay, get your tinfoil out and get ready to put it on my head, but it's not a conspiracy. Mike DeWine had been recruited to a certain worldview, a worldview sympathetic with the global medical mafia types. And you say, Everett, do you have any proof of that? Well, I'll just offer a couple of things, okay? First of all, go back to March 2019 when he tried to put into the Ohio Revised Code the supreme ruler powers in the event of a medical emergency. And I'm going to refresh us a little bit. It was a year ago, Event 201, that was convened by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Johns Hopkins and the World Economic Forum. Very first clip I played, I'm going to play it again right now, where these medical mafia types are sitting around talking about how they can win over, proselytize, whatever you want to say, important people and in important spheres of influence. We're going to play that, and we're going to bring this in for a landing.
It's extraordinary the amount of trust given to the employer. And coupled with that, in times of crisis, as we're living, the role of the CEO and the trust given to the CEO for advocacy and for advancement of accurate information is considerable.
It's not conspiracy theory, it's not conjecture. This event really happened. These global medical mafia bigwig types sat around, had this discussion about how to recruit all these people in various spheres of influence, and they are bull-dyke adamant about where we should go with the next phase as far as this vaccine is concerned. And so I just want to remind you that everything that they have advocated, Mike DeWine has done. There is no question where he stands on this, and I sincerely believe that he had a talking to and a little reminder session. I want to close, and let me back up here. And it's a pretty brilliant strategy because the CEO and the workplace has an enormous amount of influence on people, and you don't have to win over the whole population. You don't have to win over every employer. You get a couple of kingpins, it's like dominoes. You get a couple of kingpins to take that position, and in their way of thinking, responsible. It becomes the responsible thing to do, just like the responsible people wear masks, and then the rest of them follow up with. I want to emotionalize this just a little bit as we close. I want you to think about a scenario with me. I've spent a lot of years in home improvement sales, and I can tell you that right after the first of the year, it really takes off. People, they got the holidays done. People start planning the new year. They're planning the projects they want to get completed in that year. Some people are getting a big tax refund, and they've been saving up, and they got different things they want to do. People plan for their vacations as well. And some people have projects they want to complete and get paid for, because in a few years they're going to retire. And some of those people in Ohio are going to be in a really good frame of mind, and some people are going to come home with a little slip, little piece of paper that says we're all getting vaccinated at work. And what about the people that just happen to work at that place of business where it is mandatory? And you have Ohio citizens that are faced with the predicament of, my gosh, I'm 4 years from retirement. I got a lot on the table here. I don't want this vaccination, but I got a lot on the table here. You see where I'm going with this? So if that doesn't bother you at all, don't do anything. But if it's a concern to you, if there's anybody that you can contact, anybody whose tree you can shake, whose chain you can rattle, might be a good time to be doing that. Might be a really good time to be doing that. That's all I've got for this episode. If you like this video, I please ask you to like, share, and subscribe. If you hate this video, I ask you to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comments section. Until next time, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless our wonderful state of Ohio. And God bless the United States of America.